And so now you are, you successfully sold your business, still very young, almost set, yeah, I guess, set for life. So what did you do? You started enjoying life.
I traveled the world full time for 2 years. Sold everything I had. I was feeling very lost, right? So imagine after like 17 years of running your business and having that as your identity. Every morning when you wake up, that's the first thing you think about. Every night when you sleep, that's the last thing you think about. And suddenly, you don't have that anymore. So for me, it was a great loss of identity. I basically didn't know what to do for a really long time. And I was so lost that I told myself, I've got to start from a clean slate again. And I sold everything that I had. My car, apartment, most of the junk that I have in my house, my fancy watches and all that kind of stuff. Sold everything. And then I remember my whole life possessions could fit into 2 duffel bags. I left 1 duffel bag at my parents' place. I took 1 duffel bag and I just went traveling full time around the world. Surprisingly, it was cheaper than living in Singapore. Yeah. I wasn't like a luxury traveler, right? I basically stayed in hostels or I rented like long-term apartments. But despite all of that, like my living expenses were actually lower than Singapore. And I was like, wow, okay.
You set on this journey, but what were you trying to find during this journey?
Something different, something about myself, why I did the things that I did, what am I looking for, what am I searching for, can I lead a life where I pursued my passions or my hobbies only. So I did all of that. I went traveling country to country, visited friends who were living in different countries, went to become a snowboarding instructor, learned windsurfing, all these things. Lived in different countries as well. I mean, just to see how life is like, right? Basically, I was still trying to answer the question of why are you working so much? What are your hobbies? What are your passions? And I wanted to find what my passions were. So the interesting thing is, I found my passion. I realized that entrepreneurship is my passion. And that was when I realized that when people talk about work, entrepreneurship and running a business isn't work for me. It was like fun and fulfilling and satisfying and rewarding for me. That was when I realized I am like a true entrepreneur. It's in my blood. The kind of people that who wake up and they can only think of surfing, and they surf the whole day and it's absolutely rewarding for them. That's kind of like me with entrepreneurship, right? I basically just enjoy the whole process of fixing problems and solving things, and it happens from all different levels of the business, whether it's strategic to all the way to the bottom where you're fixing admin problems, right? You want to make sure that everything is like smooth and efficient. That was when I decided that I had to come back and get into entrepreneurship again, and that's why now I run superscaling.com, the coaching business, the entrepreneurship community. I also went back into hosting. That's where I started CLDY with a bunch of ex-Vodian people as well. Because the same problems that we faced back in 2002 in the hosting industry are still present today. And so we really want to solve that again. And this time we're focusing on the few key areas, right? Stability of your website, providing the kind of support that you need, the speed of your services, the security that you have in case you get attacked, all these things coming together to provide an experience that the customers can get. So it's quite strange how 20 years on, the same problems in the industry still exist.